Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of Ore. I'm here today and I've been up all night testing the lag that is currently present in Out of Ore. And I have noticed something, so I've been playing this game until it starts to lag. This hopper that I'm emptying into is empty, as you can see. The other one is empty. And I'll raise my bucket right up so we've got like about a 7 block drop into the hopper. Watch the FPS. Tip. It's still outside of the window of it. I thought I was at the edge of the FPS, but I'm not. The little kick in FPS I got last time must have just been too many balls in the hopper. So I've started my video a little early, I'm sorry about that. But it won't take long because I've been playing for 10 minutes and this kicks in another 10 guaranteed. Watching that FPS. It's in the top left corner, really small writing above the press F1 for help, if you guys are looking for it. But it's recovered again, which is interesting. Let's just dig a little more. Then it'll happen. So I raise the bucket up so it's nice and high, give us enough time. There it is. That little kick of 1 FPS, I'll try and get it on a white background next time, but this is the start of it. This happens after about 10 minutes of digging. I've dug maybe 12 bucketfuls of muck, so 120 to 140 tons with the new spec of 10 tons for the bucket on the loader. And that's all you'll be able to play in a gaming session so far, which sucks. Utter balls. Sorry, but it's true. There we go, 49 again, and now we're starting to nail at 49 each time we drop. And this is what I've said on the Discord, this is linear, right? I can tell you that the next drop will be between 3 and 4 FPS lower than the last reading, assuming I get a full bucket full, because it is down to how many particles go out and land. But it's also interesting that it's when they make contact with other objects. So watch that FPS again, I'll get it on a white background. We drop. And there's the lag, see? Second or two's delay after the drop. It's when they hit stuff. And if anyone in the Discord wants to tell me I'm wrong, fine. But tell me why. Or on YouTube or on Steam, to be honest, because yeah. You can say I'm wrong, but you've got to say why. I don't mind constructive criticism, but if you're just going to be a troll, I'm coming right back at you, like a hurricane. So, from my YouTube channel, that's a heads up to the trolls. Because they exist, I know a few of them, and they are horrible, but this FPS drop is worse. Because it's ruining the game for me. Ruining my enjoyment, which is a shame, because I love the game. Love what's going on here. But we'll try it in this other hopper, which still got balls in the bottom, so it's a good test. And we'll do another drop. We're at 50 frames per second. 48, 49, 50. Now I'll go and drop in the other hopper. We'll see how low it drops this time, and you'll see that it just slowly, linearly starts to drop by 2 or 3, sometimes 4 frames a second. On average it's about a 4. We'll see how much we can dig. So there's the drop. There's the frame drop, 47, 40, 50. So you see what I mean about it starting to drop in linear increments. The next one will be in 35 territory. Somewhere in the middle there, I reckon. So I'll back it up. Drop in the other hopper. Keep the hopper loading sort of even, because that's absorbing twice the amount of balls per second as hoppers normally can. We make the drop. And 49, 38, 46, 50. See what I mean about it, it's getting lower each time we do it. So now as a test, just to prove it's not the hoppers, I'm going to take a bucket full of muck. Like that. Get the full bucket, JP. There we go. Right. This is a full bucket of muck. Back into where I dug it out. Okay? 50 frames a second. Onto the floor. Oh look, 49, 50. Not as bad as when it hits the hoppers, but still there. And you can dig and just dump on the floor like that and eventually crash the game. It will get there, it's just slower than with the hoppers on. Mainly because the balls disappear instantly, rather than hanging around and bouncing as much as they do in the hopper. When they're sat in the hopper, they all rattle together, so they're all constantly doing physics calculations. So make the drop into the hopper, there's the drop, 29. And it's physics calculations, it's as those balls are sat in there bouncing around against each other, because as soon as they stop moving, your FPS will return. So yeah, sorry, the comment about trolls, when someone comments about something and you've seen them troll someone in another room, it kind of, yeah, it gets to you. That's what got to me. I couldn't really say anything because I wasn't in my own Discord, I was in someone else's, and I didn't want to break the rules because I want to stay a member. But yeah, this FPS drop is real. It is not to do with the hardware on my machines. It's a lot of other people are seeing it with different hardware, and that's just from like the few people in my Discord and on my YouTube. Other people in NMC's Discord are saying the same thing. Like, they had 20 people, like one bloke was saying they had 20 people talking about it the other night. So yeah, it's real. Make the drop, 46, 36, 31. See what I mean about it's going down incrementally. Every time I make a drop, we hit a lower frame rate value. Like, literally. I'm sure it's the collision detection or the shadowing. Might be a shader file. I don't know, I'm not a software guy. I just know that I've seen problems with the Unreal 4 engine like this before in much simpler games. No offence, but a game about railways has a lot less physics, or should have, than the, what, 100 or so balls that just spawned from my bucket? I mean, maybe 10 or 15 would do. Make them bigger. That way you've got less physics calculations for each ball. They're only going into a hopper. Yeah, I don't know what kind of fix there would be to this. I've been getting longer game time, as I say, by filling multiple hoppers and using multiple drums. The drums aren't running right now, by the way, so this isn't a Grizzly interaction. In my last game that crashed, I lost 2 hours gaming, I ripped out all of my equipment and then tested it like this. So ripping out all my equipment didn't help. Whatever this is not related to the amount of equipment you have in the map, though it may be a factor, because it uses up memory that this table might otherwise be using. But I didn't get any longer dig time in a brand new game, where I just bought this machine, a dumper truck, and a bulldozer. And they're kind of essential machines, you can't do without one of those three. You might be able to do without a bulldozer, I suppose, but not if you want to clear a large area flat. Otherwise you'll be skimming all day with this thing. Especially with a bucket that only holds 10 tonne, but to be fair, that's a realistic figure. And it makes me think there might be a bigger loader on the horizon, like a 75 tonner. That might have a 20 tonne bucket or something. That'd be cool. But yeah, this lag thing is should be the priority, not an indicator that says demolition mode's on. You turn demolition mode on, you should remember to turn it off. Whoever asked for that as a priority is a plum. But this lag is linear and it is progressive. The game file or whatever that records these little balls or whatever is getting too big gets bigger and bigger. There we go, 30, 28, 40. So we're down to 28 on that one. That was the low figure there. Take another tip. Round, go for the other hopper. $29, $20, $25, $37. Lower and lower. Just see how long I can play till the game crashes, shall we? I mean, I don't give a hoot about this material anymore. Probably going to have to do a restart of the next update anyway. I thought a restarted game might get rid of the lag, but it was present from the word go. So this is built in. This isn't because of something I've done in the map or because it's my game corruption. Only thing I haven't tried is verifying my Steam files, but if it was something like that, someone else would have found it by now. I first started noticing that the lag happened whenever you were digging when I was clearing my waste pile. I was digging away there with a 501 and just moving it 30 yards sideways and dumping it again, and I was still getting this massive lag problem. 18. See what I mean? Every time you just hit a few frames per second lower. Every time, like a file's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Or a memory leak is eating more and more memory. One of the two. So yeah, that's my conclusion on this. I'm going to try and keep this video short because it'd be kind of cool if the devs saw it. Big thank you to Christian, big thank you to all my viewers. Christian developed the game. Big thank you to the guys at NMC that are helping him, you know. Life doesn't go anywhere without help. And unless you're willing to look into something and analyse it, as I've just spent 6 hours analysing this problem, you're never going to get anywhere. But worse, if no one does the analysis and no one tells the devs straight, they can never make a better game. So for all those who are just running around parroting everybody else's conclusions, stop. Start doing your own research. There are many situations in life where people have copied information, it has been wrong, and it has caused a major problem. There's a reason teachers in school told you not to copy people. Anyway, as you can see, this FPS problem is getting worse as I play. Pretty soon we'll start to see freezing and lagging as the vehicle moves around. Maybe it's starting already. There we go. And that happens after you dig, when animations of the dirt change, that kind of thing. That isn't too much of a problem. But this tip, 31, 20, 23, 42, that wasn't so bad. I was expecting to be into the teens that time. We don't like those. Don't like numbers less than 24. 24 is the speed your eyes refresh at. You cannot see a constant image below 24, I think it is. I might be wrong about that. But I know it's 24 frames a second to get a constant picture in movies. They normally run more. Especially the modern ones. Here you see that's steadily held down at 23, but it's doing alright. I'm impressed, this is actually a good session. I expected this to crash by now, but we're into the crash window. The crash window's in between now and 20 minutes. I haven't managed any more than that kind of time after this kind of FPS drop. Dump in here again. What I might try is dumping up on the ramp to show that it's collisions. There you go. 20 again. Every time they collide, the frame rate drop does not happen until they hit something. For whatever reason. Get a bucket full of this. That'll do the job. Go up this way. Up. Go on, get up there. Right, I'm now at a higher level. We'll just drop it here for chuckles. 50 frames a second. See, and it stays up fairly well that time, because the balls come to a halt and some of them start despawning straight away, you see. When I noticed this problem, I was dropping them on a steep slope and they were rolling. So they were staying spawned like they do in the hoppers. So there's definitely a build up there, but those hoppers should have emptied now. So we'll go back over here and grab that ball full of muck again. Tidy up. I call it muck, it's pay dirt. Muck's the top one, but yeah. So both these hoppers are now empty. And we'll just to prove it's not hopper ball, you know, balls in the hopper already, because these hoppers are clear. We'll just do a drop. Whack. 24, 18. Then it comes back up. See, we're back up at 50. And there's still balls in the hopper, they haven't disappeared. Not yet. So realistically, as I say, I've been seeing this drop and this crash when not loading hoppers. It takes longer, it does take longer. Around about half an hour, but it's still there. That was the waste pile experiment. It wasn't even that big a waste pile. There we go, 19. 24. So yeah, as you can imagine, if you start loading a third hopper, this gets even worse. Bulldozer loading. Well, we can forget that at the moment, which is a shame, because that's how you clear large areas. I mean, I've built a mountain the size of the mountain in front of me with a bulldozer, and now I want to bulldoze it into the hoppers, but every time I do, I take 3 or 4 swipes, get a game crash, and that's that. It's no fun. Just no juice in it. There we go, 19 again. I think I saw a 15 click up then. So yeah, that file is definitely filling. It would be a lot worse if I was running machines that were generating bulls right now. We'll do that in a sec. Okay, game's still performing quite well. You know, it's quite smooth when it's at 50. We make this tip, take it up a bit higher. I look 17. And this will continue until it goes down to 6. I've seen 2 frames per second. And I'm going to be honest, I've done a launch in Kerbal Space Program with I think 7,500 parts at takeoff. And it was only a 2-stage to orbit, so the first jettison I lost 5,000 parts. That launch took around about 45 minutes to make it to orbit on what would normally be a 7.5 minute trajectory, to give you an idea of how many frames per second were not happening. But it made it. Game didn't crash. That's what I mean by I've pushed this computer a lot harder than this game is pushing it. It should be eating this alive. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing my graphics card make any more effort than it does for, Space Engineers as a server pushes it more than that, especially when we're all like getting active with weaponry. 7 Days to Die pushes it not quite that badly unless it's a horde night. There's a lot of zombies. Normally gets to around 50, with a complicated base as well. So realistically, like, my machine isn't grunting any more than it normally would, and in fact even when stable I think it uses 20%, just sat there with Windows. Blasted resource thieving operating system. They tried to sell me Windows 11 today. Screw that. My mate tried it and went back to 10. I'm sticking to 10. Oh, quick, change the metaphor before everyone learns it, otherwise, you know, our Microsoft engineers won't be able to make any money anymore. Yes, completely redo your product every 3 years, and so you never end up with an efficient working product. Common problem, trying to do too much. But yeah, this FPS lag is inherent in the game's engine. It's not in the machines because it happens without those. It's not because I'm processing and loading, which I was told was the reason. Ooh, 14 there. Yeah, now we're seeing a bit of slowdown in the game. So you can see, it does not take long. And the thing is about this, of course I've got a massive stack of dirt in my machines to run now, so I'll just probably go get some toast or something, leave it running, come back. But AFK is not satisfying gaming. If I want to play an AFK game, I'll load up something that was written in 1998. There are better AFK games. There we go, 19, 17. So yeah, as I say, the game's working, I am loving it, I am enjoying it, but yeah, I know a quicker way to crash the game, and that's get the dozer out. Maybe I'll go do that just to prove a point. 20 minutes in, might as well. But yeah, that frame rate went down again. Say maybe I'll go get the dozer. I think the dozer's in the wrong place. It is. But yeah, people are saying the dozer's bugged. It's just not true. They just don't know how to use it. So we'll get the dozer and we'll go over to the other hoppers. There. Or I could just bulldoze some road out. That'd probably do the job. Or I could go and bulldoze that waste pile directly in front of me, but I may as well head over there. It'll take about the same amount of time to get there. As you can see, these are all loading, those hoppers are clear. Could fire up the machines. In fact, I will fire these up just to find out how much is in them. You don't have to turn on the machines to get them to load. Look, 12,000 straight away, and I never turned it on. So whichever the person was telling me, ooh, turn on the first 2 buttons on the machines and it will load. Yeah, try it without. It works without, you fool. The people who think they know more than they do. Don't want to drive through that gap, because that is not a gap. Or at least if you're going to act like you know it, test it. Test all the options. Like people with blinkers. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, until you realise that you've just fucked the entire planet's freaking environment. I'm talking about aircraft. Aircraft are great. Mass transit by them isn't. It transmits disease around the world, it uses up loads of fuel, it causes global warming, and all these sunny, lovely students who are lovely, lovely and woke and got to save the planet are going travelling next year. Not that I have a strong opinion about that kind of thing, but you've probably heard it before. Yeah, so I'm in such ambivalence about this hole in the game. This hole in the game has been known about since this update came out. I pointed it out. Other people have pointed it out, and yet we've got a load of, I'm going to be honest, crap, like little indicators to tell you where your blade is and that kind of thing, and the demolition indicator. They were probably asked for before, admittedly. And we've still got a game-breaking fault in the game, which is not the way these things should happen. There we go. 29 FPS, and I didn't push that much that time, like the dozer was moving. Try again. $17, $20. That's going into 2 separate hoppers as well, and not all of it went in. Just go push into there. 15, and I'm loading multiple hoppers, sure, but no, like, unless each hopper has its own file list in the game that doesn't get deleted of what it's run for a gaming session, that might explain something like this, and then it totals it all up at the end. But there's definitely something going on in memory allocation here. 14, 16. See, the more we push, the more that happens. More material we move. I can bulldoze with a bulldozer without ever putting anything into a hopper, and we can crash the game this way. It's the volume of these little balls being generated, I swear. But, I mean, there I didn't generate that many, they went straight in the hopper. Some laying in the N1. But that is it. So realistically, I do not have that many balls on the pitch at once in this game. As I say, I have driven my computer a lot harder than this. Heck, it was running harder in the old mode. My fans used to be going crazy. They're not anymore. Might mean they're burning out. But yeah, this frame rate drop is, as I say, you're constantly gambling with a game crash, and if you save now, you'll lose everything in those hoppers. If you reload, quit and reload, which is annoying, very annoying, but I can understand why if it's a floating table that isn't actually recorded anywhere and is a temporary file, and I can understand how it might crash a game engine if that temporary file got too big. It's happened in other games I've played, as I say. I've seen this before. I've seen game crashes in the Unreal Engine like this before as well. There we go, 20, 16, 15, 19. And I've seen it in Unreal 4 games that are a lot simpler than this as well. That's what makes me think it's an Unreal problem. I doubt the game designers of the game engine will ever bother there on number 5 now. So it's probably an inherent problem in the writing of that game engine, which is why they've come out with another one. Probably seeing it a lot in development games because it's a cheap engine to buy. I looked into buying a game engine at one point. or getting the rights to use one. So I was going to build a game that was sort of kind of a Minecraft Space Engineers type affair, with a couple of little twists. But yeah, I realised I didn't know enough stuff about software. Sometimes it's good to know your limits, you know what I mean? I ended up with a little lunar lander game in Visual Basic instead, which was kind of cool. Got me my marks, so it got me what I needed. But I think that was Visual Basic back in my college days. That was pre-Minecraft as well, the idea for that game, by the way. That idea was years old, even back then. I think it was sort of an Elite Dangerous meets a game like Minecraft. I can't remember which game we were basing it on. We're talking 90s, we're talking DOS. Pretty sure it's meant to be a combination of Elite and Doom in a buildable world like Minecraft. That was interesting. Balls appearing on the far left. So yeah, frame rates dropping left, right, and centre. So even here, didn't even take that much material in, and I'm getting 17, 15. Not the best situation. Because this isn't really that complicated a job. Like, there's not that many packets running around here with data. Like, even if I've moved 1,000 balls, I'm talking about a machine that can crunch data at like millions of calculations a second and stuff. So, not millions, but thousands of calculations a second. It should be able to handle this. I'm sure that the game is shunting some kind of data to the GPU it shouldn't be, or there is an allocation and memory management table that isn't right. Something is wrong here. I can understand why you pushed the other update, but this is the problem I would be working on. It would be doing my nut if this was my game. It really would be. That's why I'm not a game designer, perhaps. Let's say that, a games programmer. Games designers don't necessarily need to know how to program. It depends whether you're conceptual or execution, I guess. But yeah, this is and for those who are bulldozing and there you get to find that they're bulldozing up a pile like that, just get to the top, drop your blade about a blade's width, you know, blade's height below the crest, and just push a little like that. Come down again, blade, so you can see the crest over the blade like that. Just gently push the blade down. If you get stuck, you push the blade down too far. The other thing you can do, I've got my blade fully forward on cut at the moment. If you find that you're having real problems, just give shift a gentle tap, literally a quick tap. And sometimes you'll find that all your bulldozing worries stop. Sometimes they won't. It just depends on the material and what you're trying to do and how steep it is and whether you can push and whether your tracks are on the ground. Since you need all four corners of the tracks on the ground to do any pushing. If it's in the air, it doesn't work so well. Also try leaning the blade left and right, because that can really help you out as well. And now we're somewhere where there's a load of material. We've got 43 frames a second here after I came backwards off of that. That was just the hook on the back digging in. Bulldoze this over here a bit. Oh. Grab a little bit of that. So yeah, I didn't drop in a hopper there and we got 18, 16, 14 frames a second. All I'm doing is building up a bit of a ridge at the beginning of the run there, so that I can get to the top of that crest and crest it, take the top off. That's what you can do if it's too steep, is bulldoze some material into the bottom of the slope and build yourself a slope. It's not hard with this thing. I've been building roads everywhere just by driving sort of at cliffs. You just hit the cliff, do the old rise up thing and you're up the top. Job done. Oh, there it is. That's 8 frames, 7 frames per second. So you can see how quickly the bulldozer dropping stuff into hoppers can eat your frames a second. You just saw how the bulldozer not pushing stuff into hoppers, and it's purely the volume and the amount of balls generated. But the one that crashes the game is well, this will probably shortly if I keep on bulldozing. So yeah, probably going to give it a halt there. Half an hour on the video, that'll do. Half an hour of me moaning about this. But hey, if nobody moans, no one knows it's a problem, and this is a problem. There is no denying it. So yeah, I did do this video earlier using excavator and explosives and a few other things, and it was a lot more interesting, but the game crashed before I'd finished, and it cut me off halfway through a sentence, and it didn't make sense, so I binned it. That was quite a lot shorter of a video as well, but yeah, I have to see if I can get slots pushed in. There we go. Take the top off of that, take the top off of that, and push it across the third hopper. There we go. 10 FPS. That growth over the hoppers is annoying, but it only grows so far, and then the bulldozer keeps taking the top off, and it leaves open holes for the balls to go through, so it isn't so bad. Better hopper design does improve that. There you see I get jammed. That's because my front wheels, as it were, the tracks, were off the ground. The same thing applies in the loaders. If you've got your wheels on the front off the ground, you won't be able to push anything. Don't know why in the loaders, because they're like four-wheel drive and stuff, but there you go. Don't know why in dozers either, because I suppose it could be surface area of grip. You've only got a small amount of grip when you haven't got the whole track on the deck. So yeah, this is Mr. JP doing a more analytical video and trying to stay on the subject of this FPS drop. If anyone else has got ideas as to what's causing it, I'm all ears. I reckon the guys at NMC might be, because Christian's normally pretty quick at fixing these kinds of problems, and this one has remained. So I think this one's a bit of a bigger bugbear. One other thing you can do, you can actually get the blade of the dozer in above these hoppers and move backwards and forwards and sort of collect it up on the blade and drop it in. That's what I'm doing at the moment there. Oh yeah, and did I? 9 frames a second. And then I just wiggle the blade then to shake it off, basically. You just tilt it and it just drops it off. If you want to, you can clear these hoppers really easy with an excavator and a ripper. Just go in from this side and run the ripper in towards you, and jobs are good. Cleans it right out where it used to. I haven't tried it in this new version. Oh, I see, I keep on hitting the corner of that concrete. Okay. Might have to delete some of that. Trying to dip the end of that blade into the holes if I can, just for a bit of a giggle really, just see if we can do it and clean them out. I did one of them. So yeah, let's say not convinced by this memory leak or whatever it is, but pretty sure, as I say, it's not my machine. A lot of other people are seeing it, and my machine's hardware loading and stuff's pretty low, so look. Task manager. Let's just have a look at what's going on with this. So we've got out of ore, CPU's at 84%, GPU's only at 46.5%. That CPU usage is huge. What's going on with that? I do have Discord open. Get rid of Discord. That was 9. What's going on here? What else is eating memory then? Okay, so this game is eating nearly 100% of my CPU at the moment. That's 90%. That's quite a lot of CPU. It's an i7 9th gen. It's not bad. I've been thinking about upgrades, but maybe I'll have to. But I'm going to be honest, game designers, if you're writing games for purely the top end of the market, not a lot of people in this current economy can afford to upgrade their machines like that every year. They tend to do it every 3 years. You want to be writing software for 3-year-old computers, really. Like, if you want to sell more. Just saying, you know, from the marketing thing, the wider your pool of potential buyers is, the better off you're going to be. I know that people who seriously play sim games will have the kind of equipment that you're thinking of, but we're not all Croesus, my friends. So I'm going to leave this video on that note for game designers, is that perhaps you should start designing things for the average computer. But yeah, there's a memory leak or something here, because this dozer is parked, right? We'll just park it up over here, so it's stable. So we've got parked dozer, blade in the air, nothing on the ground, right? Task manager. We're still there at 71, 79, 82, 52% on the GPU. Yeah, it's a tough call, isn't it? Where was that thing that used to tell me how many cores were being used? I can't remember. I used to have a thing that told me which bits were being used and where. I can't remember where it is at the moment. I last used it to full find Space Engineers a year or so ago. Windows has probably changed the software. But yeah, we just took a bit of a pause. All the machinery should have backed off a little, right? As in the conveyors aren't running, but I didn't even make it to the hoppers then, and we're seeing 15, 16. AE 82. Yeah. It's a toughie. Tough call, isn't it? All of this computer stuff when you don't have analysis software or any clue what you're really looking at. As I said, I push electrons together as a rule. That's my electronics, what they call principles, and practical. Microelectronics is still that kind of thing, or was when I was doing it. These days it might be more programming, but yeah. So, all in all, until this lag problem is fixed, the game is playable, but you're not going to be able to make any kind of volumes, and you're not going to be able to really play it for long. With any comfort. Yeah, there we go. Down into single figures on the frames per second. Back up at 11 there, 17, 14, 23. So yeah, I'm going to finish the video there. Oh yeah, you can go see these things downhill, you know, jump out and let them roll really well. It's kind of cool. You can see how jerky it's getting now. Just go over to these machines and see what we've got. So that little bit of bulldozing I just did gave us nearly 10,000 in the machine. We've still got 4 and 7 in these ones. So realistically, before I can save the game, which I'm going to do anyway because I don't want to lose all that digging, but even though I've saved now, if the game crashes from here on, we lose everything we've loaded. It all just gets deleted. I'll just repeat what I've said. If you once it's finished saving, I'll repeat what I said, just in case the recording isn't working. Right, yeah, doesn't matter what you do, I just did a save, but because I didn't want to lose all that digging. But even if the game now crashes or I quit and load, we lose everything in these machines. Everything is gone. It's all in a temp file that gets deleted when you finish playing. And that resets this problem. So obviously it's a file size getting too big. Like, the Unreal 4 engine tells me it's an engine problem when it crashes. So I'd say it's an engine problem. I I've been wrong before in the past. I'll be wrong again. But this ain't my PC, guys. This ain't my PC. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I may well be starting a new game in the next video. I don't know yet. We shall see. I'm a bit pissed off about this, to be honest, quietly. Because the problem's been here for nearly a week now. So yeah, we've had an update that addresses a load of stuff, but doesn't address something that's a major in my opinion, because this is a major. You should be able to play a game like this for longer than that. Anyhow, this is a disgruntled and been awake all night Mr. JP, because I've been testing the lag problem, saying thank you very much for my viewers for putting up with grumpy tired me, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and good luck in the mine. If you're mining, if not, have fun with whatever games you're playing. See you later on, guys.